Hello and welcome to today's episode of Ranked. This week's a little different because it's not really about my opinion. What I'm doing is setting out to identify what I believe to be the top 10 most iconic moments in Disney animation. So while my perspective unavoidably will play a part in this, as I'm the one making the list, I'm trying my best to be objective. Let's get into it. Let's talk about what I mean by iconic and discuss some of the parameters of the ranking. Firstly, these moments are all coming from Walt Disney Animation Studios movies. If it's not one of the 62 in the canon, you won't find it here. Also, these are moments more so than scenes. I'm looking for very specific, short, identifiable moments. Now when it comes to iconic, what do I mean by that? Definitions of the word include widely recognized and well established, as well as widely known and acknowledged, especially for distinctive excellence. I'm looking for what people think of when they think Disney animation. If you asked a random person on the street to name an animated Disney moment, what would they say? I'm looking for moments that transcend their films and have cemented themselves in general pop culture somehow. Moments that people continue to reenact. Just uniquely memorable moments that are defining pillars of Disney animation. I think you get the picture. Now let's start the list. You know it, I know it. We can't resist some honorable mentions. These are moments that really deserve to be on the list, but there are tragically only 10 slots, so the best I can do to honor them is mention them here. I'm just gonna go in chronological order to make this easier. Arguably Mickey's most iconic form, and Fantasia is one of the OG releases from the studio. The main reason this didn't chart is because it's more about the entire segment or Mickey's look than one moment alone. Dumbo flying is not only a unique sight, but a victorious underdog moment. There are Disney Parks rides based on this moment, but like I said, there are only 10 slots, and unfortunately this one was a casualty of that. The struggle with Alice in Wonderland when it came to this list is that there are seemingly endless iconic moments, segments, and characters in this film. None of them particularly stand out above the others, but if I had to say just one, it would be the Mad Tea Party. I have two from Sleeping Beauty. Maleficent's evilness comes to a head when she transforms into a dragon, and we get to see arguably the best Disney villain of all time have one of the coolest moments in the canon. This is a moment that is recreated in the Fantasmic show in the Disney parks. At least it was in Disneyland until this happened. On the other hand, Flora and Merryweather's blue or pink dress debate is very lighthearted, memorable, and a lot of fun. It's not so much one moment, but it is something I wanted to mention. I'm by no means a Sword in the Stone fan, but the image of Arthur pulling this revered blade from its resting place is an all-time great. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of hurt my feelings to not put this on the list proper, but the competition was just so steep. Mrs. Potts singing the title track paired with the ballroom imagery and Belle and Beast's outfits is one thing, but that shot that starts up at the chandelier and sweeps down is just so good. Absolutely iconic, just not more iconic than everything else that made the list. It really was a battle of inches though. This one kind of hurt too, but it's not so much one moment, it's the entire sequence of beautiful music, imagery, and magic carpet ride. Believe me, this one's worthy, but we have a stacked list ahead of us. And speaking of, why don't we get to the list proper? This is my personal, yet trying to be objective ranking of the top 10 most iconic moments in Disney animation. While it's tempting to claim the entirety of I'll Make a Man Out of You, for this list I need a specific moment, and that is easily when Mulan shocks the entire camp after struggling and proves herself by cleverly finding a way to do what no one else has done. This to me is iconic because of the combination of the music and the victorious feeling. I absolutely love how instead of first showing Mulan atop the pillar, we get the shot of Shang coming out of his tent and the arrow being thrown to the ground. I've seen so many people try to climb poles like Mulan, and even the people you knew growing up in high school that were embarrassed to like Disney absolutely loved this song. That cultural impact and relevancy, especially online to me, is what allowed us to squeak in and make number 10 on the list. I may be cheating just slightly by not pegging down a very specific moment in the sequence. The entire song is iconic, but if I had to narrow it down, it would be between Elsa's dress transformation and the last proclamation of the song. Frozen as an entire movie is iconic, and it's a unique entry on the list because, spoiler alert, it's by far the most recent thing on here. Frozen, and more specifically Let It Go's infiltration of mainstream pop culture, cannot be understated. Endless little girls, and let's be real, every type of person reenacted this, and I'm very comfortable with giving it a spot on this coveted list. I do want to mention here Encanto's We Don't Talk About Bruno, because it certainly infiltrated general pop culture as well, but I feel like it was mostly concealed to being an online thing. I'm not sure if someone didn't have TikTok if they would have been as aware. And there's not really a clear standout moment from the song in my opinion, so that's my reasoning for including Frozen but not Encanto. Peter Pan is another movie, like Alice in Wonderland, that has several iconic moments. I narrowed it down to You Can Fly, but like Let It Go, I have to condense it down to one moment. And that was Peter and the Darling crew taking their first flight to Neverland and stopping for a little breather on Big Ben's Big Hand. I've said this before, but I think Peter Pan as a movie is strongest at the beginning, and this is the proof. The children flying with pixie dust is memorable enough alone, but incorporating such a famous landmark for me cements this as the iconic moment of the film.
Hey, Holly, your mom said that Saturday night is movie night, so what do you say on me? You take Princess over here, you guys go see Bambi, huh?
I'm not actually sure that Bambi's still in theaters, which is such a shame because I'm just dying to take my 7-year-old little sister to a movie where the mob gets killed by the evil male hunter.
I want to go see that.
I'm a bit of two minds about this moment because based on memory alone, it is one of the formative moments of a lot of our childhoods. Many of our first brushes with death included this scene, but if you actually go back and watch it today, it's not as intense. That might be pointless to say, like of course it's more intense for a child, but that's sort of irrelevant because the amount of times I've heard this moment be referenced in real life and in pop culture is damn near unmatched by any other Disney moment.
You know what's sadder than this? Bambi. I cried for 3 days with that movie. No, wait, 2. Because on the 3rd day my mother killed herself, so I was partly crying for that.
Well, see, now that I can see crying over, but Bambi is a cartoon.
You didn't cry when Bambi's mother died?
Yes, it was very sad when the guy stopped drawing the deer.
I simply couldn't not include it. While I think the original part of your world sequence is the strongest in The Little Mermaid, this moment in the reprise with Ariel on the rock and the waves splashing behind her is what made the list because of the imagery and the boldness of the proclamation. Not to mention, I've seen a lot of people try to ungracefully reenact this moment. This one doesn't need my explanation. This is Disney princess magic. It's impactful, it's historic, it's an incredible, beautiful, meaningful piece of animation. And it's said to be Walt's favorite. One of the most all-encompassing dreams come true moments Disney has ever produced, and a big reason why it's what they're known for. While this does get a boost for being from the first ever animated Disney movie, I think it holds its own regardless and more than deserves to be here. I remember seeing this clip in every montage Disney would put together for their movies on VHS tapes and DVDs. It's the original magical moment where evil is defeated and they live happily ever after. Love's first kiss. There's not a whole lot I can say other than the fact that I think pretty much everyone knows about this moment. It's the stuff of magical fairy tales and what Disney animation built itself on. I'm of the belief that if you polled the general public on their favorite animated Disney movie, The Lion King would win. This moment is here not only for the popularity of the movie it's in, but for the inclusion of one of the best openers of all time, Circle of Life. What really set it apart for me, however, is that I think it's the most reenacted Disney moment of all time, barring my number 2 entry. How many times have you seen somebody lift their dog, cat, or even their baby like Simba? This moment is powerful and it has a permanent place in pop culture. I think it's a no-brainer that it's up this high on the list. This is the only moment that surpasses Rafiki lifting Simba in terms of reenactability. I can't even fathom how many people must have tried this. It's unique, it's original, it's memorable, it's fun, it's romantic, it's dogs eating spaghetti. Bella Notte is a beautiful song, the imagery is gorgeous, and this is just one of those all-time greats. It would be very hard to find a person in your life that doesn't know about this moment. If your grandparents know about it, I'd say that's iconic. Is this basic? Yes, but that's sort of the whole point. Wishing on a star and your dreams coming true is the thesis of Disney animation and Disney as a brand. The song When You Wish Upon a Star, while not in this scene, has been the theme song of Disney for decades, and this moment is the act of said song. Geppetto is taking part in the most Disney of all Disney acts. Dogs eating spaghetti and kissing may be more interesting than this, but it's not more iconic. This is the genesis of a brand of Disney magic that has been going on for over 80 years since it was first seen. I'm willing to hear arguments about most of my other entries on this list, but this is the one I think is a stone cold fact. This is the most iconic scene in Disney animation. And with that, we've completed the list. Thank you so much for joining me on this ranking of the most iconic animated Disney moments. What do you think was the most egregious flaw in my list? Be sure to leave a comment below letting me know if you agree with my picks or what your own list would look like. I know my list heavily favored some of the older movies, which kind of just comes with the territory of being iconic. The longer you've existed, the more edge you'll have. But if anyone has other newer picks, I'd love to hear them. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting like and subscribe, and head over to the Trove to find more rankings as well as video essays, reviews, trivia videos, and more. Thanks again for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.